that was the Celtics game. In an attempt to not look at it from the emotional point of view that is definitely coursing through my body right now, how did the Wizards lose to the Celtics in this way? Well, if we just zoom in to that moment in the fourth quarter, Beal makes a magnificent shot to put the Wizards up about 5 with like 40-something or 30-something left. Celtics get the ball. For some reason, Tatum gets a wide open lane to score. And then it's only a 2-point game at that point. And you're thinking, okay, Wizards just have to either get the ball in at this point. You just get the ball in. And the Wizards fail at getting the ball in. Now, what I'm confused about is why there was not a timeout called. We had a timeout left. Like, they had a timeout left. So when Beal gets that ball, you should have like some kind of awareness that he's gonna get trapped. Like, someone on that team, if not the coach, just one of the players, like, if he passes into Beal, he's gonna get trapped. Maybe they thought he was gonna get fouled, I don't know. But Beal gets the ball on the trap and immediately just hits the deck because, when two dudes are like swarming you like that, you're gonna fall. He falls, and initially it did feel like it was like, what? Oh, and then you look at the replay, you're like, okay, Beal fell, and of course the Wizards defense collapsed enough that they were able to get a Tatum score, and then the Wizards were down 1. Even before that, a lot of this stems from the guards on the Celtics being able to penetrate and immediately kick out. And at first, like, the Celtics weren't hitting those threes as like frequently. But when Semi Ojeleye hit that 3, I'm like, oh, I don't know. And then Beal just, went unconscious. And had this game ended in a different way, obviously, you want to talk about Beal going for 46 and how great of a scorer he is. But that curse of just every time that he scores in double digits, he just can't win. Like, the universe just finds a way. Again, you think about the late game execution, and there was clearly something lacking there, where there should have been somebody should have just called that timeout. If you have a timeout left, burn it on that, and at the very least force them to foul you or something, so they don't win in that way. It's a disappointing loss. You could see it on their faces immediately, obviously, but it's a disappointing loss. Now, initially this game was really ugly because no one could score. But the Celtics heated up faster. They got their contributions a little bit quicker than the Wizards were able to, because initially Beal was basically the offense, and that kind of was the consistent theme. He was scoring, and then Bertans was scoring, and they were both the only consistent shooters. Like, Garrison Matthews was 0 for 3. Rui had not a 0 for, but I think he had like 1 or 2 shots. Russell was cold for most of it, but then he started to heat up throughout the game. But it wasn't enough to obviously propel the Wizards to victory. I think it's just like it came down to contributions. The Celtics had Peyton Pritchard scoring, and if their guards like Peyton Pritchard or Jeff Teague weren't like slithering into the paint and getting floaters to go, it might have been a bucket from Javonte Green, or Tristan Thompson's getting an offensive rebound, or Daniel Tice goes off for 8 straight points because the Wizards started trapping Kemba at one point, and he just immediately would kick it out to Daniel Tice, and it would just be a score. When you have a scenario like that, you wonder how the team will respond. And the Wizards, to their credit, the only reason they got back in this game is because they kept it close the entire time, despite what was torrid shooting from Beal and Bertans and paltry shooting from about everyone else. The defense really became more and more stout as this game got closer to the end. So that was a positive, to think about. As far as like contributors, like I said, like no one could really shoot, but it was the defense. Bonga had a couple good moments. Bonga, one of my DNP All-Stars, managed to get a lot of play. This was a lot of play, and unfortunately, I think like he's gonna get crapped on. But the whole team really could not shoot, and that's not all Bonga's fault. Like, yeah, he could have hit a 3 or 2. Even Russell hit a 3 or 2 somehow. He hit a 3 and then he missed a 3. And really it comes down to late game execution as far as this game is concerned in terms of, like, the microcosm of why they lost. I think it just was down to that. Because at first it seemed like they were going to lose because Beal was the only one scoring and no one else could shoot. But, again, you get contributions sort of from the defense. You got Neto scoring a bit. There was some Robin Lopez hit a clutch hook shot, and I was just like, "You what, mate? You what? Robin Lopez gonna win us this game? Are you serious?" I was shocked when he hit that, and then of course everything else happened, and it's a little bit deflated. Ultimately, it happens. Second night of a back-to-back. I guess you would rather like lose by, okay, everyone can't shoot. But when you get into that game, I think obviously that's why it's deflating, So pretty much the Wizards just have to be better about that late game execution. I think it comes down to if Beal is getting trapped on like everything, then someone else needs to spring open so that ball can at least get up the floor. And if he's gonna get the ball and get up and not be able to get up the floor, there needs to be a timeout call if we have it. I believe we had the timeout, so it sucks, but that's just, it happens, and the Wizards just have to respond like they do, because like I said, their resiliency is starting to become a thing, and they're not letting themselves get down too much. Obviously, in this game, late game execution leaves a lot to be desired, but being able to lean on your defense, which is something I never thought I'd be able to say with the Wizards, being able to lean on their defense in the way that they did in order to force that comeback, being able to trap Tatum, deny him the ball at times, force the ball out of the hands of the two guys that were in this game, because obviously, the Celtics are missing Jaylen Brown, which was a surprise scratch for me because I didn't realize he was out until like the game started. I was like, oh, he's out. And Marcus Smart, obviously, two guys who are really good at defense. Jaylen Brown's much more of an all-around guy, obviously, and those two are super important for the Celtics. But when you go against them, you still have to worry about Tatum and Kemba Walker, because if those guys are still in the game, the Celtics have a chance to win. And Tatum showed tonight why, people have high expectations for the Celtics and why their sort of spiral is not exactly what people expected. Now, in terms of a macrocosm for the Wizards, it's like, okay, so you fall a little bit low because the Wizards are still trying to get into a seeding position. Everyone's talking about how they're a few games away from 4 seed. I'm kind of more at this point just wanting to see if they can get to 500 and then maybe thinking about like playoffs or anything from that. And if they continue to at least play this way, minus like what the bungling of this fourth, then that's fine. They should be able to bounce back from this. The next game, hopefully, will feature a lot more people making shots, because it was torture just watching every shot just clank off the rim. I'm like, oh God, it's one of those games. That's not fun. Yeah, pretty much you just need a consistent third scorer, because if Russ and Beal are your known commodities, then you need either Bertans or Hachimura or whoever it is. It has to be consistent. And right now, Rui struggled last game. I know I sort of was like, hey, yeah, like I like that they're doing this for him, but like he hasn't solidified that third option yet. And although there has been plenty of good praise made about his defense, this game was a bit of a struggle. It's very tough for them to secure offensive rebounds in general. I think the Wizards definitely have to be better about that, but I've already said, like, I kind of accepted that they're not going to be. It just seems like everyone else is looking somewhere else. And there's plenty of, like, examples of miscommunications and things that can be cleaned up to a degree. It's just true. The Wizards would have probably escaped this game by the skin of their teeth. They just didn't get that chance. Even on that last play, I feel like you could have run something else, or just like run it as a decoy play. I don't know. I just, knowing that the Celtics were going to trap and still making it super obvious that Beal's getting the ball. But I don't know what play I would have ran, so I guess I can't really criticize it too much. But it's okay, you know. There's like 50,000 games or whatever. There's like 40, 30. There's a billion games left, and I think that in terms of just how the games are scheduled, you're just going to have some losses. Like the Clippers loss was probably a scheduled loss. This one, not so much. We could have gotten it, but pretty much just got to come out better next game. And I'm sure the Wizards will. You just can't dwell on it too much. And Beal just can't score 40. Because I had a joke lined up too. I was going to be like, oh, Beal scores exactly 46, then we win. Or it could have been 48 had he gotten fouled, but he didn't. So, yeah. Wizards are allergic to Lucky Charms. I actually got Lucky Charms cookies today too. So weird. Yeah, Wizards lose. Heartbreaker. On to the next one. So yeah, Wizards are playing the Grizzlies in the next game, which will feature the electric point guard, aka Ja Morant, who was almost unanimous Rookie of the Year. And I mean, we got our own electric point guard, so we'll just see who's a better conductor, I guess. I hope that the Wizards come out and can hit a shot, hopefully, more than just Beal and Bertans. Just more than those two. Well, this guy says, although Wizards are allergic to Lucky Charms, they seem so far to be able to handle the animal kingdom. They gave the Timberwolves dog treats and that worked out. I don't know what you give a bear though. Is it fish? Is there like a fish treat for bear? Do they sell those? Wizards are gonna have to figure that out to make sure they don't get eaten alive. WizWatch!